Thank you for joining us on another episode of Popcorn for Breakfast with your co-host, Kirk.
Hello.
He's feeling it. He's jazzercising over there. I love it. I am your other co-host, Cam, and we are so glad to have you with us on this Tuesday night. If you're watching via the stream, it is going to be a lot of fun. We are deep in the throes of some pretty big movie and TV events that are happening all around us seemingly every day. So we will get you all of that. We'll unpack it all for you. And we'll just get into it. We are doing something this week that we have never done before. We are taking a trip in Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine, and we are reviewing a classic film, The Sandlot. We're reviewing The Sandlot.
Yes, I wonder how many people think of it as a classic film. When I often am trying to tick off the little 100 list AFI best movies, and I don't think this movie is on there, unfortunately.
No, I mean it's not that kind of classic. It's more of like a cult classic. It's more of like everybody's seen it. You know,
like Johnny Depp Crybaby. Everyone's seen that, right?
No, but everybody
okay.
who has seen it loves it, and if you don't, you're wrong. That's just a fact. But it's true. It is more of a cult classic. It's one of these movies that just everyone expects you to have seen. Just before anybody gets crazy, I had seen this movie many, many times before we reviewed it, but it was nice to take a stroll down memory lane to actually put on my critic hat for this movie, which was really weird because it was like a movie from my childhood. So
yes,
that was a fun little experiment.
That was the hardest part for me too, because it really challenged me as watching The Sandlot was, wait, what's weighing more here, my nostalgia or the critic hat, right? Like it was a vicious battle.
That's good. It's a good battle to have. And for those of you that are wondering, you're like, The Sandlot, that is, pardon the pun, way out of left field. Anyway, Angels in the Outfield.
Wrong movie.
Love it. No, but it's always the right time for that reference. But anyway, the reason that we're doing this, I will take you way back in 2019, pre the pandemic. We had an event, for those of you who were not privy to the show before then. We had an event where we all got together and we went to go see Star Wars. It was super fun. We sold out a theater. We did some trivia, and one of the prizes for trivia was that you got a voucher that allowed you to pick which movie we review on any given week, and we have to just shift gears and review that movie. That was the reward. And our friend Andy chose that reward, and he sent me a message this week and said, you know what, it's time I'm going to cash this in. I want you to review The Sandlot. It's baseball season. He's a Cardinals fan. Cardinals baseball is here. That's why I've got my Cardinals hat on, even though I turned it around backwards because it was casting a shadow on my face. But that is the reason why. So here we are. We're reviewing a classic film this week. And if you're listening to this in podcast form, you'll have to swing back on Friday to catch our full review of The Sandlot. It's going to be a lot of fun, don't you think, Kirk?
Yes, the 2007 The Sandlot Heading Home is the movie that we watched for this week. It is the third installment.
Yes.
It was quite the ride. I thought it was a little different than my memory had allowed me to suppress, but it was good. It was wonderful.
Yeah, he really should have clarified. Instead, I watched the second one, you watched the third one. This is going to get weird. But no, it's going to be a good time. And other than that, something that's again, we often do things that are like themed, and this is not one of those weeks because we've got the Oscars coming up, right? We've got the Oscars on Sunday. I love the Oscars. I'm fired up. It is like, this is the Super Bowl for movies every year. This is the event. You and I, Kirk, have been powering through films to try to make sure we can make all our picks, we can be well informed, and we are going to wrap up the show tonight on the stream with Schoolyard Pick of 2021 Oscar storylines. So the big stories that we are following heading into the 2021 Oscars. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, over the last week, we got tons of big movie news. We got two insanely massive trailers in F9, the Fast Saga, and Shang-Chi. and The Legend of the Ten Rings, which was a surprise trailer drop. So we'll be talking through all of that. We've got some other big news, but we got a lot going on. So even though we're reviewing The Sandlot, we're not taking a step back. We're full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. All right, Kirk, what do you think? Should we get going? Do you want to vent a little bit about what's going on with your garbage disposal? Because I know that's the reason we started this stream a little bit late. I didn't know if you need to get something off your chest there.
I don't think I could fully be extremely vulnerable without talking about that first. So thank you for allowing me this platform to discuss this. So just a couple of nights ago, my garbage disposal, I noticed when I was washing, rinsing dishes off and putting them in the dishwasher, it made this crazy sound. It's been making a sound for a while. Let's be honest. But the water started to rise just a tiny bit out of the drain. Right? I was
Lord.
It's like it'll work itself out.
Right.
I imagine, water and plumbing is not an exact science, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then last night, it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine at all.
It was not fine. Okay.
I gained like 8.5 inches of water in my sink. And as you know, sinks aren't that deep. They're not like, 16 inches deep or something. So it was like
that's a lot of water.
To the brim.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, and it stayed there for like 4 hours. I basically like didn't go to sleep until I knew that it was all the way down or low enough where I wouldn't wake up with like flies and gnats all over the place.
Sure.
And then tonight I decided, and my wife decided, that we had to resolve the problem. And so my father-in-law, your father, graciously came over. We ran to the store. We got a plunger specifically for the sink. We got this crazy Drano that comes in a plastic bag that you have to wear gloves with so you don't like burn the skin off of your
Isn't that
bone.
Every Drano? I feel like that's every Drano.
Yeah, this one like comes in a bag though, and it tells you like, do not look at it. Don't look at the bottle because it will burn your eyes.
Turn you to stone. That's right.
Just like that.
Kill you dead.
And so it worked. I'm happy to say successfully it has accomplished the job, and I finished promptly before we began this broadcast.
Wow, what a story! And congratulations to you. It reminds me, I had this inspector. I had the worst inspector ever on my last home. Even though kind of all home inspectors are the worst. Apologies to any home inspectors out there, but you guys are not great. But this guy was like, "Oh, so have you ever had a house with a garbage disposal?" I was like, "Well, I've lived in a house with a garbage disposal, but I'm a first-time homeowner." And so he was like schooling me. You know how they do.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Listen, you're going to want to be really careful with this garbage disposal. Nothing sticky down there. No noodles. No eggs. No." I'm like, what can I put down there? He listed like 30 things. I was like, what can I put down there? Seriously. He was like, I don't know, cereal. I'm like, oh, great. Perfect.
Great. I eat cereal 3 times a day, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, that'll be my primary application. What a jerk. Can't stand that guy. I am also having a bad day. Can I vent? Is it venting time?
Yes, please tell us.
Dude, I got to tell you, we got this new baby gate.
Okay.
Which baby gates, don't even get me started in general. But I was like, you know what? This is simple enough. I'm going to finally like get one. We had one of those spring-loaded ones at the top of the stairs, and I just didn't dig that for the top of the stairs. I was like, if my kid runs full speed at this thing, which happens 5 times a day, he's going to come falling all the way down the stairs and, get horribly injured. So I was like, all right, we're getting a new gate. And I got it, and I cannot, I stripped 2 screws trying to put this thing in. And so now the screws are busted. One of them stuck in there. I can't get it out. I had to go on Amazon and buy the screw extraction. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. And it feels like anytime I try to do something like this, it's a disaster. And then I just question my value as a human being. It just really spirals out of control. I start to be like, I go into an existential crisis. Why am I here? What am I doing?
It's
a whole thing.
Yeah,
every time.
It's like every tiny home project you approach, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can go at it with, so let's say I still need to anchor the dresser, part of the dresser to my daughter's room. We rearranged the room.
Yes,
we tell her, don't go in that corner. Whatever you do, don't go in that corner. And so if I go at it and I just tell myself, I'm just going to do it, I'm sure I'm going to blow a plumbing line, even though there's no plumbing in that wall. I'm sure miraculously there will be an old plumbing line from the original build of the house.
Something will go horrifically badly.
And it will flood the room and my house will go underwater into Atlantis. That's item 1. You just go for it. Item 2 is you take a ridiculous amount of time to put 6 screws in the wall, tediously, like 1 hour per screw. And then you're like, man, I'm exhausted. So it goes either way, but either way, there's always going to be something that pops up after
Every
and
time.
during.
It's always the simplest of things that end up being the hardest. It's never the hard things. Like I had to fix my dishwasher the other day, like a while ago, and I was very proud of myself because I like fixed my dishwasher and it like wasn't that bad. That is something that seems hard. I had to like switch the circuit board out and everything. It was like the whole thing.
Right.
And then there's this where it's just like drill some holes in the wall and put some screws in, and it's like a huge disaster. I'm like, I thought it would take me 15 minutes. It like ruined my night.
Right.
It's the worst.
Dude, I hear you.
No more being an adult. I quit. I'm done. I'm out. I'm just going to pay somebody to do everything.
DIY with Kirk and Cam.
We should start a podcast about DIY where we just complain about having to do stuff to our house.
Of our little knowledge too. We're like, now what's the deal with this part and that?
How come every time I use a drill, I strip the screw? I literally texted my dad that today. How come every time I use a drill, I strip the screw? He's like, well, I don't know. And I Googled it too. And they were like, I don't know. You're just an idiot, I guess. I don't know.
Like you again, like they're tracking.
Yeah. They're like, again with the stripping of the screw. Yeah. I was like,
dude,
yes, Google, yes.
Your dad's on overtime, so I'm sure that he's going to stop by our executive producer, Ryan Spriggs. He's going to go to all 3 of our houses tonight.
He's just like, what
do you need? You know,
handyman it up. That's the world we live in.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, that feels better. I feel like a weight has been lifted now that I've talked about that. So that was good. I'm sure it was good radio also, but who cares? Okay, so let's talk about movies, shall we? Movies and TV. What do you think, Kirk?
Well, I mean, there's like 8 more things in my life that broke down this week, but I feel like we should press on. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay. We could go all night, to be honest, with just the rap sheet, but
yes,
we'll leave that for therapy. All right, here we go. Let's pop it up.
You may pop it up.
Oh, sorry, Kirk. That was a no-no on my part. I should have asked for your permission, but I didn't. I just went for it with reckless abandon.
Yes.
Okay. Here we are. What's poppin'? We've got some things I think we will need to talk about a little bit, and then we've got lots of like quick hitters, like just things that people need to know, things that you would want to know, but not something that like I expect us to have big long opinions about. Is that fair?
I'm good with that. Good with that.
Okay. Great. First, let's do trailer reactions. Everybody loves to react to trailers. It's the most fun thing in the world. Mm-hmm. We had 2 ginormo trailers this week. The first one was F9, the Fast Saga, which finally has a release date. It's releasing in, now I've forgotten, July, I think. July 25th is that's the date that's coming to mind. I could be very wrong about that.
I don't know. I'm just going to say yes. That is the date. July
That's what I need. I just
25th.
need the reassurance. I'll double check while I'm talking here. But so Fast 9, the Fast Saga, that's the name of this movie, is on the way. We've been waiting for this movie. We've been waiting to see when the release date's going to be. And we've been waiting to see if the rumors were true that this would be the Fast movie that takes our friends, nay, our family, to space. And at the very end of this trailer, Kirk, they are in a vehicle that appears to have some rocket boosters attached to it. And they're wearing some like MacGyvered space suits where they're like duct taping around a little bubble on their head, and they get dropped off in the air, and then the rockets shoot off, and that's how the trailer ends. So first of all, June 25th, only in theaters. Fast 9, Fast
Even
Saga,
better,
not July
even
25th.
better.
So it's closer than I thought. What was your reaction to this trailer, and what is your reaction? What are your thoughts on the 9th installment in the Fast Saga?
The same reaction I have every time I hear another Fast and Furious film is coming out. I want to meet like a real diehard fan of the Fast and the Furious.
We could arrange that. They're out there, man. We could definitely arrange that.
Like someone who's like super passionate about it, right? Who like loses their mind, takes off work, and has like the full Fast collection from 1 to 9. Like, I want to meet that person. If you are that person, here's our invitation. We will have you on the show. I would love to have this conversation. We'll hold a spot. We'll throw the link to an invite guest link to you. I want to talk. I'm not here to make fun of you. it's such a particular person, and I've never seen the exact fans. I've just more so known it like as passive fans. I mean, my mom and dad get pretty pumped to go see those movies, but they're not like I want someone who's like going to a pro wrestler tournament and who has like makeup on and like a leather coat, a leather,
like
just like
the
a
Fast
leather.
and the Furious equivalent of that person is what
Yes,
you're saying.
yes.
Okay.
Specifically, I do want them just to be in a leather vest, just because I feel like that should be it, and hopefully with pants too. Let me be clear. And
your request is getting more and more specific as you go, and I'm worried that we might not be able to find this exact person.
I will settle for nothing less than this.
Okay, fair.
But that's what I think every time. Like as the trailer goes on, I really stop watching and I think about where is this super fan that's out there that they're making this movie for. And then I think to myself, wow, Cam's going to make me watch this. That's fine.
Yes.
It's kind of silly. And then I know that I'll be laughing in the theater when they're, 70 feet up on like a helicopter and The Rock is screaming at John Cena. And, it's wild. Yeah. It's absolutely wild. Those are all of my feelings about the Fast and the Furious.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. I think most of us feel similarly. I mean, here's the thing. You obviously like can't take, it's so crazy that if you type in Fast and the Furious on IMDb, it's like just endless. It just never ends. Like I was trying to find the
Tokyo Drift?
The eighth movie. What's it called? Because there was Furious 7.
Is it just Fast and Furious?
No, that was the.
All right, we have Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift.
Then I think Fast and Furious is the fourth one.
And then
there's Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6. Then this is insane. Where is the eighth one?
They didn't like it, so they stripped it from IMDb.
Seriously, does this exist? Fast and Furious 8. I'm like legit searching it now because the Fate of the Furious. That's why it didn't pop up, because it's the Fate of the Furious. Obviously, you would think that would be the last movie, but it's not, because obviously they didn't meet any sort of ultimate fate in that movie. I don't remember exactly what happened in that movie, but then so you've got that. Then you've got this one, and then Justin Lin is saying that there's 2 more coming, and that the Fast or whatever it's called, F9, the Fast Saga. Why can't they just make these names consistent? F9, the Fast Saga, is the beginning of a trilogy that will end the story.
It's the Fast universe. That's just what this is.
Multiverse. But yeah, there's a lot. I actually don't even remember the initial point that I was going to say. But when I look at this trailer, here's the thing with these movies. Obviously, it's just like this is a popcorn movie. You go, you eat your popcorn, you drink your soda. It looks pretty. It's loud. It's got cool special effects. I mean, it always looks pretty good. Like if you look back at like Hobbs and Shaw, which is the most recent one that you and I saw, like looked pretty good, and it felt like a big blockbuster movie, and so that was fun. But that's what these are for. But I think with that comes a responsibility to like do the next one bigger than the last one, right? Like every time you have to outdo yourself. And when I saw this trailer, I didn't really get that vibe. I was like, I don't feel like there's anything all that new going on here. I don't feel like there's anything that's like, oh man, that's going to look sick on the big screen. I got to go check. Like I didn't get that vibe at all. And maybe it's just because they're playing the space cards like close to the vest right now, which, that's fair. But like, if you want me to come see the movie, let's show all the space stuff. I want to see it.
Very good point. Very good point.
And here's the other thing. They are trying to pass this off, and I think it's a crime. Vin Diesel and John Cena as brothers? Yeah. Are you kidding me? They look nothing alike.
What?
They look nothing alike. And they don't even... I mean, you would never, ever say that those two are brothers. You could do Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Maybe half brothers?
You could do Vin Diesel and like Dave Bautista or something.
I think they're half brothers.
I don't know, man. They look nothing alike.
Has to be.
It's like not even close. They don't even have the same speech pattern, facial expressions, nothing. There's nothing even closely resembling between those two.
No,
they might as well have made Charlize Theron Vin Diesel's brother. Like seriously.
She already has a part in the Fast universe.
She's Vin Diesel's sister.
Yes.
Oh man, I know, and I think she's in this one too.
Actually. You know what she is, yeah. And you know what I'm gonna do? You know, like they have that that little whatever you call it, the parallels between John F. Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that with John Cena and Vin Diesel, so that way you can see why they're really brothers, Cam.
Yeah, John Cena had a secretary named Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel had a secretary named John Cena.
If you look at every other letter in each of their names and you remix them, it spells the opposite person's name.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. John Cena was born like May 7th, 19... I don't know when he was born, but I'm just saying that we could do a
72.
Whole thing.
Yes.
And if there are no parallels, we'll just make them up. So
absolutely.
It's like, it's more interesting. But
so look for that, everybody, coming to you soon.
I would also say that I was actually surprised to learn that John Cena had not been in the Fast universe up to now. I've seen most of these movies, and I was like, surely John Cena's been in here somewhere, right?
Oh, I thought he had as well.
Right? And then they were like, look, it's John Cena, and he's Vin Diesel's brother. And I was like, wait, this is new? Okay.
Oh, cool. Man. I just figured that anyone that's like super muscular has been in these movies, right? Because like overly muscular, not like MCU like cut, but I'm talking like The Rock,
like huge,
Vin
like
Diesel,
professional wrestler,
Lou Ferrigno, Hulk Hogan. I think they've all been in at least one of these films.
Yeah, I think it was The Fate and the Furious.
Yes,
the forgotten film,
the seventh
that
forgotten
you can't find. So. Wow. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Fast 9, I think. Yeah. Let's try to find somebody who loves this movie, like loves these movies in a major way, so that we can talk to them, because I just want to get their take, because I don't feel like I'm doing it justice. And all I'm saying are things like, I wish this movie would be bigger. They probably would know more. They would probably be able to give us some insight into that. So pretty cool.
We're giving this way too much airtime, and we're losing listeners by the second. But I have to. So. I found this, or we're gaining more fans.
Exactly.
I'm going to tag every single Fast and Furious movie in the post when this airs. But you said there's going to be a 10th and 11th film, right?
That's the plan. Justin Lin, the director, has said so.
So on Wikipedia, because all great knowledge comes from Wikipedia, we also know that there's a Hobbs and Shaw sequel. We know that. But there's also an untitled female-led Fast and Furious film that may be coming out.
It's got to be Charlize Theron.
And her name's not on it.
Or Michelle Rodriguez.
Also not on it, but she would have to be. I don't know if these are just the EPs on here or not. Yep, screenwriters, story by, and producers. So Vin Diesel is going to be one of the producers of that, according to Wikipedia, which again, all knowledge comes from. So, so we have 4 other Fast and Furious films coming out in the next decade.
Keep them coming. And that's the thing, I'm just glad that the Fast family is okay, because there was some beef about Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
The Rock and Vin Diesel had beef, and you don't mess with the family. You don't mess with Vin Diesel's Fast and the Furious family. That's for darn sure.
Right. I don't know what cured this. Probably money.
But yeah, I think that's the cure all.
We'll find out. We'll find out if family is thicker than money.
Blood, money. Yes, both. It's thicker than both. All right, that's enough. That's enough on the Fast. That's actually more than enough on Fast and the Furious. All right, next one. Let's talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Yes. They dropped this thing on us out of nowhere. Well, it wasn't out of nowhere. If you're a weirdo like me, I actually posted in Discord. I was like, guys, Shang-Chi is coming. They have updated the Twitter profile. Like, I was following people who were noticing these things. They were like, listen. They uploaded the profile picture. They uploaded the cover photo. It's coming. And they like pulled the little whoop-de-doo on Simu Liu, because he had posted like, hey, new poster for Shang-Chi. Trailer drops in a couple of weeks. And then Marvel Studios was like, trailer drops right now. and just like exploded the internet in the way that only they can do. So this is a big one. And the reason that it's big is because it's the first new superhero franchise that we have gotten since, hold on.
Would it be Ant-Man?
Black Panther?
Which one came out first? I'll check.
Ant-Man came out before Black Panther.
2015.
Yeah, but Black Panther also appeared in Civil War, which was after Ant-Man. But
we're talking about like full-on origin movie. It would be Black Panther 2018. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, and so there's that. So that's pretty big. And this is a character that has not appeared in anything yet. This is just a total new origin story. So I want to get your take on this trailer. What are your thoughts, and how are you feeling about this movie?
Yeah, this the other thing with the social was today. Is it Simu Liu? Is that correct?
Yes.
Was today his birthday as well?
Yesterday.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
I think that's why he said, I think this is a great birthday present.
Yes.
So yeah, the 19th. Oh my goodness, this guy's the same. He was born the same year as me.
He's just a pup.
The man looks like a man. Like, I don't feel like I look like a man. He looks like a man, and he's the same age as me.
He's a beast.
I gotta get my my martial arts training. So
somebody on Twitter said they need to do a Marvel gym where you like go in and you pick which Marvel superhero you want your body to look like, and then they have the Kumail Nanjiani weightlifting program, and you just go in there and get swole.
Dude, why have they not put that out there yet? That's incredible. I would do all of them. All of them.
Pay any amount of money.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie looks super cool. So it's gonna have to be cool because we've done so many origin films that they have to be more and more creative. The stakes have to be higher and higher, and they have to out the gate be tied to the rest of the MCU. Because in the original format, we had the origin stories, and they connected at the end of the film, really, and mostly in the mid-credit and post-credit scenes. But now we got to know going into it that he's part of the bigger picture, which obviously they know that as well. But what do these 10 rings mean? Do they tie into first of all, I love the trailer. Love the martial arts. I'm just speculating here. Do we know, is this going to also tie into the hand, that Iron Fist plays into, or is this like a completely different sect and just team of evildoers, and what's going on? Yeah.
So the 10 Rings is a terrorist organization. Actually the same terrorist organization that kidnaps Tony Stark in the, in Iron Man.
Excellent.
So that's where it ties in, and the Mandarin is most closely associated with the 10 Rings in the comics in terms of a big villain, which would be a big bad in Marvel land. And the Mandarin, we got like a fake Mandarin, the Ben Kingsley Mandarin in Iron Man 3. So they still haven't done that character, so it could get interesting.
Incredible. I love every beat of this trailer. It's very unique. It's not weird. It's straightforward, but still mysterious. Like it checks all the boxes for me. It seems like this, storytelling at its best, which is what Marvel it always does well. Yeah. So I'm in. I'm all in. How about you?
Yes, I'm also all in. I think it's very stylish. The music, the cuts, like everything, the way that it looks is great. It looks like we're getting a good old-fashioned origin story, which is something we haven't had in a while, like we said. And I love that they're paying homage to the kung fu genre with those fight sequences, because that is a very underrated genre in film. I think I've talked about it before. It's really cool. There are some awesome kung fu movies out there, and I think Simu Liu, just like knowing his style and seeing him in some other things, he's going to be a great addition to. He's honestly a perfect choice in terms of like how he can deliver lines comedically, how he can just flat out act. Obviously he's a physical specimen, as you noted. Like he's picture perfect for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think this movie is going to be a big hit. I'm excited about it.
Yes, definitely. I'm
cool.
pumped.
All right, in the world of movies still, and let's go with new movies. We got an announcement that Downton Abbey 2 is on the way. And Kirk, I am not a Downton Abbey guy, but I feel like this is a surprise to some people. Is it a surprise to you?
It's a bit of a surprise, but I'm quite welcoming to it. In fact, I brought my music here. I'm
Is
so
that
excited.
is that the Downton song? I just assume.
What if it wasn't? But it is.
Like, no, that's actually a theme song to a totally different movie.
That's the theme song for Fast and the Furious. No, I'm so pumped. I've talked about it before. Downton Abbey, I was reluctant to watch at first. I'm not a huge like period piece kind of guy, and it was so popular that it was working against me. I'm like, well, everyone loves it. They're just bandwagon fans. I'm not going to watch it. Trying to be like, no, I'm better than that. But I don't want to be. It just happens. And I watched the first episode. I'm like, all right, play the second episode, and then I watched the rest of the series within like a couple of weeks. The movie was perfect. The series was perfect. I know the second one would be perfect as well. Julian Fellows does no wrong. It's going to be so exciting, and you got to start watching.
I know. It's one of those things, man. It has eluded me, but I guess at some point, I mean, I feel like 1,000 Downton spoilers have been thrown my way, but I have no idea whose name is who. I'm just like, they're like, so-and-so dies. And I'm like, no idea.
Right.
So I'll start it, and those spoilers will be floating around in my head, but the names will not. And so I'll have no idea. I'll just be like, somebody's going to die.
You're gonna fall in love, like so-and-so is my favorite character. And then you're just going to like remember like, oh,
yeah, I'm going to have like that epiphany moment. Be like, oh no.
They're gonna die like that.
Yes, that's definitely gonna happen. So
yeah, I'm super pumped about this. I was as every endeavor goes, especially with movies, it's almost as if like if they made I'm trying to think what's like a perfect movie. Let's say Jaws. Well, they did that. I was gonna say what if they made a sequel to it? How terrible would that be?
The Social Network.
Yeah. Oh, the Social Network too.
It's not a perfect movie, but it's a great movie.
It's Foursquare instead of Facebook. Yeah, this is exciting to me because it was already episodic. So to have a second one of these, I think it's gonna be a home run. And they left enough things untied at the end of the first film that you could just have a whole nother run at it. So that's
right.
why I'm super pumped, and I love all those characters and actors.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. I'm excited for you. And maybe whenever I eventually dip my toes into the Downton water, I will be excited for myself. We'll see.
Yes. Let's exchange British shows. You watch Downton. I'm going to finally watch The Crown.
That's a fair trade, actually. I feel like that's a fair trade. Though I think Downton has like a bajillion seasons. Is that true?
6, maybe?
Oh, 6. That's the same as what The Crown will end up being. So that actually is a fair trade. All right, Kirk.
Boom.
We'll consider that. Okay, next one. I apologize. We're going back into superheroes, guys. Most of the news stories these days are superheroes. I'm not just like being a homer because I love superhero movies. Like dead serious. Like every news story that comes out about movies is about Marvel or DC. Like straight up. So here we go. This one is fun. Alfred Molina has spilled the beans in a major way on Spider-Man No Way Home, and he is an American hero for doing so. He spoke with Variety and basically just threw his non-disclosure agreement out the window, and he was being interviewed about Promising Young Woman ahead of the Oscars. He actually makes an appearance in that film in kind of a small, an interesting role, in one of those roles that you're like, is that Alfred Molina? And then it is. But he started talking about Spider-Man and confirmed that he was in the cast, which had already been confirmed by like Variety and Deadline and stuff like that. But obviously Marvel said nothing about it, and confirmed that he is Doc Ock, obviously, and that they are picking up right where they left off with his story, which from Spider-Man 2 was him sacrificing himself to destroy the machine that was fused with him, in the river. So he said that when he asked John Watts, the director, about it, John Watts was like, nobody in this world ever really dies, It's
true.
And so, which is true. And, he said he was worried about it because he's aged 17 years since that film. But then he remembered that the arms do all the work and they're CGI. And so all he has to do is like fold his arms and like look menacing and do Dr. Octopus things. So, Kirk, does this confirm the multiverse theory for Spider-Man No Way Home?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They've been trying to dance around it. There's no dancing around it. We all know all the speculation. You can't hide Marvel. You can hide from a lot of things and you can hide from your execution, but you cannot hide from, we know this is happening. We just know. Sorry, we figured it out.
I think it's one of those things where Marvel is actually pretty good at keeping leaks sealed. Like they're actually exceptionally good at it. But I feel like it's the Sony projects, man. When you get Sony involved and it's not like 100% the Kevin Feige, everything's locked down show. Though Kevin Feige is EPing this movie, I'm just saying like it's different. It feels like. And this movie just got too big for its britches, I think. And so like something was going to leak. We got some few leaks here and still a lot of things that are unconfirmed. They're still like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are not in this movie. They're absolutely not in this movie. So that has not been confirmed. But the Alfred Molina thing, I mean, how can you have him in this movie and not have Tobey Maguire in this movie?
He's going to be in this movie.
It's probably the, that and Green Goblin are the most intimate, like hero-villain relationships that happen. And they just won't make sense if it's like Tom Holland. It has to be, like Toby has to be involved. And so, then you connect the puzzle piece with Jamie Foxx being in it and all of a sudden here you are, multiverse. So
yep, it's coming, it's happening, it's going to be glorious. And how fantastic. It comes out when? End of this year?
December.
Man.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be great if the world was back to the new normal,
Let me just say this. If the world is back to normal, we are going to do the same thing that we did for Star Wars.
Yes.
We're going to rent out a theater. We're going to do it to the nines. We're going to have a big event.
Maybe Red carpet.
Let's try to do it for charity this time. That would be fun. We could up the ticket prices a little bit so that we could do it for charity. That's my vision right now. So everybody fingers crossed. Let's hope that, we beat this stupid pandemic and we're all on the other side of it by December so we can party and watch Spider-Man together later this year. That would be so great.
I think what I need to have on every episode is like a bowl full of freshly cooked popcorn and like spill it at a very good dramatic moment because I really wish I could have like showered myself with popcorn.
Yes, that would have been good. We do need to have that on standby in the future. We'll have
coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm taking notes. Got it.
Okay, quick hitters. I promise these will be really quick. 1, Emilia Clarke is joining the cast of Marvel's Secret Invasion television show, and that's Emilia Clarke. That's the mother of dragons right there. That's Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. And she's in Solo, so she's already been in the Disneyverse once before. She's joining a cast that already includes Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Kingsley Ben-Adir, and Olivia Colman. So that show is shaping up quite nicely, if you ask my opinion. Wow. Other Marvel news, Doctor Strange 2 wrapped filming this week. Worth noting, based on the conversation that we were just having about leaks, there was not a single leak on this movie, which everyone is expecting to be huge and universe-altering, hence why it's called the Multiverse of Madness. So that seems like a big win for Marvel. No leaks, so we'll see what happens there. Furiosa, the Mad Max Fury Road prequel, is about to be underway, and it's going to be the biggest film ever made in Australia. They're bringing tons of jobs. They got tons of funding from the government. This thing is going to be big, bad, and crazy with a cast that includes Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Wow.
Also, 2 other quick hitters. Mads Mikkelsen is joining the Indiana Jones 5 cast. He's joining Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, presumably is the villain because he's always the villain. And
that's what he is.
There will have to be some sort of villain, I assume. And finally, a new directing trio has been announced for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel, which will be Joaquim Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson will be the people at the helm for that movie. And Kemp Powers, actually, this weekend is nominated for Soul. He was one of the co-directors of that movie along with Pete Docter, and he helped pen the screenplay. So there's your quick hits, and those were quick, but there's a lot of big stuff that's happening right now. It's going to be a a fun time.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's
All
such a
right.
good time.
It is. It's a good time to be alive. Good time for movies. Let's pop it up with your permission, of course, Kirk, one last time.
Pop it. It's a crazy face. It's a crazy face I just made.
Was it? I missed it.
It was like this.
I'm sad now. Oh, I'm glad. Thanks for redoing that for me because it was worth the wait.
No one screenshot that.
I will after it. I have this whole thing's on video, so I will absolutely screenshot that later and make it a post, maybe on your birthday or something.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so here we go. We're reviewing a classic movie this week. I've got my baseball cap on. We're going to talk about a baseball movie, The Sandlot. We're talking about The Sandlot, and it is my turn to synopsis. Once again, we're reviewing Sandlot thanks to our friend Andy, who won the card at trivia in 2019. And he finally decided to come out of his slumber and play the card on us. He's like, I want you to review The Sandlot. And we were bound to that eternally. So here we are. And so in honor of baseball season, which is back and which is making me very happy right now, we are going to review The Sandlot, and I will synopsis.
Do it.
All right. The Sandlot from 1993, directed by David Mickey Evans, is a story about Scotty Smalls, who's a new kid in town. He lives with his mother and stepmother, or his mother and stepfather, not his mother and stepmother. And it's like the 50s, 60s. It's a period piece. It's something like that. So he moves to town. He's like a nerd. He has no friends. He's like trying to get involved. His mom's like, go out there and get some friends, like get in trouble. I don't care. Just stop moping around here. He's trying to build a relationship with his stepdad, Dennis Leary.
Yes.
He's trying to, he wants to like play catch with him. All the, the father-son type things that you see back in the day in these like more traditional cliched weird times of like the 50s. And he finds this group of kids who plays baseball all the time and wants to be joined among their ranks. He ends up, kind of linking arms with Benjamin Franklin, Benny the Jet, and, Benny the Jet Rodriguez, I believe is his name. Mm-hmm. And he takes him under his wing and teaches him how to play baseball. They end up taking the prized baseball of his stepdad while his stepdad is out of town, and he hits a dinger over the fence into the yard of the Beast, which is a big mythic dog, like Saint Bernard type thing, right? That lives in this yard, and there's all these stories about it, and the rest of the movie, they're spending the time trying to get the ball back. So that is the synopsis of
there it is.
The Sandlot, 1993, the year of my birth.
Yes.
And what a year it was.
Yes, it was. What a fantastic year. I wonder what other like big movies came out. That's what we should do. You can't do this, but one episode we're going to have the birth years.
We did. I think you did a post last year that was like the whatever movie was like the number one movie the week you were born or something like that. And mine was right. So weird. I don't remember what it was.
I do not recollect mine whatsoever, but we should do that, or the worst movie of the year that you were born, whatever what we're feeling on the times of our birthdays.
Yep, yeah, that could be interesting. But for now, let's talk about The Sandlot. Let's go into our superlatives. I am going to kick us off with my Oscar. Who my Oscar goes to? My Oscar is going to none other than Patrick Renna, who plays Ham Porter.
Yes.
He's the guy who sticks the stick in his mouth and is like, I'm the great Bambino. And they're trying to, it's like a gum cigar or something like that. And they're trying to understand what he's saying. This kid, man, he's honestly a great actor. For his age, he's just killing it. He has such a natural feel. He is really like a total scene stealer. Every time he's on screen, you have to look at him. He's cracking jokes. He just really seems like a very real kid. It's pretty remarkable because most of the kids in this movie struggle from an acting perspective, as you would expect, in the same way that some kids do. They do a good job for kid actors, but it's like, that's obviously a child actor. Not our friend Ham Porter. I mean, this guy is just all over it. He's he's just stealing the show, one scene after another. The best scene in the movie, in my opinion, is when he's playing catcher against that other team.
Yes.
And he's chirping them, and he's just rattling those jokes off with incredible timing, such ease. It sounds almost improv. It's insane how natural of a feel he has for his age. I don't think Patrick Renna went on to like do much as an actor beyond that. Like he's been in a couple of movies, but he didn't become like a huge actor. And I'm actually pretty surprised because his feel and his flow as an actor was just like so well developed for his age. So that is my best actor. The Oscar goes to Mr. Patrick Renna.
That's fantastic. He recently popped up on my radar because I've recently become infiltrated by this former American Idol. Her name is Jax, who's been all over the internet singing random made-up songs and parodies to songs. And one of her newest original songs actually is like an ode to the 90s. And Patrick Renna shows up in the music video, and he showed up in a couple of her videos like while they were like waiting to be filmed, and they were quarantining together as the whole team. So he's done lots of funny stuff recently. And then you told me that we were going to be watching the Sandlot. So
That's awesome.
I was rolling. I love it. My best actor, my Oscar shall go to Mr. Mike Vitar, who plays Benny the Jet.
Yeah.
His name on IMDb is hilarious because it's Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez. So I don't know what the whole what the intention is there, because
they do say that in the movie. There, he says at the very beginning, like, I met Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, and I'm like, why is his middle name Franklin? That's kind of a weird historical reference.
Yes, and so maybe there weren't enough plays on that theme in the movie. I should have paid more attention to that until right before, when I was like, wait, what's his full character name again? This kid seemingly was going to be like the next big thing. He's so effortless on camera. He's so he's that cool guy. He's exactly the role model that you want to look up to of all of his good characteristics. He understands people. He can relate to you. He cheers for the underdog, even though he is such a hard worker. Like basically any professional, fantastic athlete that you can imagine right now, who is like that, but nice. There's only a few of them. That's who he is. And he embodied it so perfectly. He really didn't go on much to after this as well. Now, honestly, the whole cast, very few people. Dennis Leary might be at the top of the list, who's still a 100% like A-list actor still working out there. But Mike Vitar, man, I wish he would do more. I don't know that he will. He got arrested in 2017 for assault and some other crazy stuff. It's sad. But
Ruined.
In this movie, in this snapshot, in this time capsule, he is the ultimate actor.
Yeah, man, that's sad. That brought me down. That brought me way down.
Yeah. How do I get out of this?
It's okay. You had to speak the truth, man. We can't change the truth. It's just the way that it is. But he doesn't change the fact that in this movie he did a great job.
I just gave him an award and canceled him all in one sentence.
Just right there. Wow.
I am part of the problem.
Okay. And now to abruptly transition away from that, we're going to Scene Stealer. This is the person who popped up and stole the show. Maybe it was a minor role. Maybe it was somebody you weren't expecting to steal the show, but a performance that you want to call out that's not a big one. I am going with James Earl Jones, who plays Mr. Myrtle. I have to say that James Earl Jones is one of my all-time favorite actors, and this role is a perfect microcosm of what he is able to do on screen. He comes into the picture late. He is supposed to be, I think at one point Squint says Mr. Myrtle's the meanest man in town. He was mean to my grandpa. So you've got that swirling around in your head whenever you actually meet Mr. Myrtle. And he's this perfectly pleasant man who is blind. He's a former baseball player, and he just immediately connects with these kids and is like so personable and so lovable. And he's got that just like someone who's at peace. He's got that grin on his face the whole time he's talking to them. And, he bails them out of a sticky situation with the Babe Ruth autographed baseball. and his character and his performance are really what gives this movie a really nice ending, a really nice, clean. Like that's what we needed to kind of top it off. It was, I feel like in a way the movie kind of meanders around until it gets to the end, but the ending is a great payoff, and largely because of James Earl Jones.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice, beautiful choice. You can't go wrong with James Earl Jones. My
Scene stealer.
scene stealer goes to Tom Guiri. I don't know if that's how you say his name.
It's probably close.
I think it's exactly what it is. He's Smalls. He's Smalls,
Smalls.
man. He's so good. At the front half of this movie, I had regrets and that friction. I was like, oh no, man, this really is this movie good, or is this movie based off my nostalgia and love for it? And Smalls brought it home for me, man. There are several scenes that are very demanding of him for various reasons, and he brings it home. This could obviously be a role where you just phone it in, where you just play like almost a straight man, but he really, really, really dives into every single situation, every beat of each scene in a very creative way that I wouldn't have done myself, right? As a former and current actor, I wouldn't do myself. I wouldn't make those choices, and I was very impressed by the young actor. And he is still acting. He's not been in like crazy big stuff, but he is consistently finding new work if you scroll through his IMDb page. So bravo, Mr. Tom Guiri. Excellent job.
Yeah, I think he's a good choice for scene stealer because I think, he is one of the young actors who falls into some of the pitfalls that you see young actors fall into. But there are tons of moments throughout where you're like, ooh, wow, that was actually really good. There are tons of like moments where he actually steals the scene. There are other moments where he like overacts a little bit or does things that kid actors do. So it's not to be expected, and you don't really necessarily give him like black marks for that. But there are some scenes, like you said, where he's just like cash money, and it's really good. So that's a good call out. Okay, we're on to Showstopper. What was the big thing that knocked our socks off about this movie? For me, it is how they captured the childhood experience in this movie. I think it's so beautiful. I love that when the kids are doing stuff, everything is like almost like surreal, like a little bit like not like otherworldly. Like when the dog, the beast, is out in the yard, there's like dry ice or smoke coming through the fence, and like when the vacuum's back up and they're trying to suck up the tennis ball, it like explodes and fire goes everywhere. Like there are things that they do that at least I feel like they were framing it in a way to where it's like, obviously this didn't happen, but to these kids, that's what happened. And it was so real. And like, even when they square off with the other baseball team, it's like this huge, intense showdown, like that's how you feel as a kid. Everything that you do is small, but feels so big because it's the only reference point that you have. And I just absolutely love that. Every way that they told these little miniature stories throughout the movie, they just really inject that childhood feeling into it. And it just totally, watching that movie as a kid, it's not something that I picked up on, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, I see what they were trying to do here. And it's really endearing and gives this movie a really nice flavor to it. So that's my showstopper.
That's so good. That's so good. I wish I could steal that, but then I couldn't be true to myself. But that's just so perfect. It makes me think of Home Alone, where Kevin McAllister is horrified in his house, and so good, so good. My showstopper goes to your scene stealer. My showstopper is the one and only James Earl Jones.
Yes.
It was his performance, maybe give him a whole category rather than an acting award, because just like you said, he's warm, he's relatable. He turns the kid's idea just a full 180 for them. I don't know that there's many actors that can do that, who can be built up so much through exposition and through storytelling, and then you finally see them, and even if they're not what the characters expect or what the audience expects, they are exactly what the audience needs at that point of the story. So I liken it to you're putting all of your chips in on this character and on this performance. If he's a bad actor, or if he just misses the mark, the movie kind of falls apart. You've built the stakes up so high. I would liken it to 1917 to Richard Madden, the brother that they're going after to save. And Richard Madden is incredible. I knew this going into the movie. I've seen several of his work, but several pieces of his work, but going into it, I was like, I hope he nails it, man. And he did. And that's what James Earl Jones does in this as well. He's so, he's such a professional, and I just loved it so much. So my showstopper, Mr. James Earl Jones.
Yeah, he is an underappreciated actor. He really is. Like, he's been in some big movies. He's had some big roles, and he just always brings it. He's so good. Good pick. All right, now we're on to director shoes. Things that we would critique or things that we would change about this movie. For me, it's the narrative, but it's in general like point A to point B. Like how you get from beginning and into the movie. Like I said, I think this plot just really kind of meanders around. Like, I think what they really wanted to make was like just a baseball childhood nostalgia movie. And in a lot of ways they did, but they added in all these storylines that were like the Cindy Peppercorn, Peppercorn? Is that her name? Like, yeah. That feels really random. The like playing baseball against the other team while a good scene is like not really essential to the plot. They eventually kind of settle in on it being about like getting the ball back from this dog. And I think that is where the movie hits its stride. And that's sort of the good part. The movie's like an hour and 45 minutes long. They probably could have cut some of those other scenes and just left it to like, hey, Scotty Smalls finally gets good at baseball, but when he does, he smashes this autograph ball over the fence, and, just kind of like clean it up a little bit there, because I feel like it just isn't clean and it kind of meanders around, and you're left at the end with a movie that has a little bit of an identity crisis problem, which doesn't kill it because it's a kid's movie in a lot of ways. I mean, I know there's like swearing and things like that, but it's a movie that's really like tells a kid's story. Mm-hmm. So it is forgiven by the fact that it has so much heart, but the plot is probably the biggest thing that I think drags this movie down. So that's my director's shoes.
Yeah, that's a great one. One thing that's working against the Sandlot rewatch is that I am actually in season 6 of my rewatch of The Wonder Years. Fantastic television series through the 90s. If you haven't watched it, you didn't grow up in the 90s because it's actually from the 60s. And it's so funny how it just I just had to watch it. There is a narrator in the entire series of The Wonder Years. It's Mr. Daniel Stern, speaking of Home Alone. And talk about a shocking revelation that he is an incredible narrator, and his voice is so rich, and you wouldn't expect it, knowing the things you've seen Daniel Stern in, Bushwhacked, Home Alone 2, all those things. So when we hear the narrator in this, it was hard for me, honestly. And then the narrator, I believe, is actually the director of the film, as I looked it up. And I gotta say, man, I think he should have hired a voice actor, because the narration in the story is heavy. He's talking about, reliving his life, and the whole story it crutches on that, because there are fill in the blanks. There are jokes landed in that, and it's not rich enough. I don't think that I could be a voice actor, but my wife really could, because there's something magical in the timbre of her voice. So I really wish they would have invested in a voice actor for that. That took me out of it a little bit. And then I would agree with you. Definitely a part of my list for director's shoes is that there's some fat that needs to be cut out of here. There's these pieces that don't tie to the storyline, or sometimes it's too long. For instance, Beast is integral to this film, but sometimes it goes on a little bit too long. They're screaming a little bit too long. They're whining about him a little bit too long. They show one too many scenes of him swiping a baseball. Those things for me brought this movie down, but still, it's still magical, especially for a kid when you're just trying to capture all of it and take it in and quote this movie left and right. So that's my take.
I'm so glad you chose the narrator tool, because I also felt that, and it was almost my director's shoes, because it is like an audible narrator. That's what's weird about it. It's like the tone of it is totally off for the tone of the movie, and it does take you out of it. It has you like in this weird place where you're like, oh, that just doesn't sound right. And, halfway through the movie, like the narrator's popping in at random times. Like we haven't heard from him in a super long time. And then he says like one line to transition. And I'm like, dude, did we even need the narrator tool? You know what I mean? Like, did we need to use that? Because it's not always necessary. And I don't know that it was necessarily necessary here. So I just wonder about that choice, because I agree. I don't think it adds anything. And I think it takes away way more than it adds.
Oh, but man, narration tactics and techniques were big at this time.
That is true. That is true.
You had A Christmas Story. You had this. You had The Wonder Years. You have what's the movie with all the girls? Now and Then or Now and Again. I love that movie. I can't think of it. It's got Christina Ricci in it and whatever it is. Yeah, Now and Again probably. But there's so many movies with that narration tool.
You're right.
And that's why I think it was necessary for the time, at least.
Yeah, sure. It's a good point. Historical context matters when you're watching classic films. That's something that I'm out of practice with. But let's go into overall thoughts and scores. I think for me, I like the word that you used, magical. I think it's a perfect summary for this movie. It captures that childhood magic, and that's why I think this movie has stuck with people, and why people still have a really soft place in their heart for this movie, because it does capture that childhood feeling. And it's funny, like, I don't remember it being a period piece. Like, I don't remember it being set in like back in the day from when I was a kid. It was just like a kid's movie, and it was cool, and it was about baseball, and it was fun, and it had all these fun characters like Squints and Yeah and Ham, like all these super fun little character tropes. And so for that, I still think the movie's good. I think it holds up. It's exactly what you expect, no more. Like I said, I think my critiques are pretty clear. I think it's got a little, could have used a cleaner edit, could have used a little bit more focus on the plot, or just simplification in general. And if they make those few tweaks, it's a fantastic movie. But I think for what it is, it's a 7.3. And it's worth a watch, and something that, I will always remember this movie for that reason. It's just a nice, it is a 90s nostalgia movie, and a good one.
Excellent. One thing we didn't talk too much about was really the ensemble aspect of this, and that to be able to capture all of these very unique personalities into such a short amount of time, an hour 40, I think they did a pretty good job. There are times where they, where you think they're going to linger on someone, or there's a line that fits the character, but you're like, all right, you're reaching, from a very critical hat. Though even with those beats in there, it's still fantastic to watch, and still wonderful to see the creativity, because you don't see many movies like that anymore, where you see ensemble pieces, you see them reaching at every moment to create those characters, or they threw that type of character in just because they knew that it would draw some laugh in the trailer. That's it. And then you don't see them for anything else. But this one had good continuity with that. I love the feel good story. I love the underdog story. I love how we saw them as kids, and then he's the broadcaster talking about his friend, just hitting that homer. So it's a fantastic film. It's got some trouble, but man, is it a home run for me. 7.8.
7.8.
Yes, sir.
Good score. We were pretty close there. That's interesting. Not too far off. So yeah, that's The Sandlot. Interested to hear other people's thoughts. If this is one of your favorites from back in the day, hit us up. Let us know your thoughts on this movie. Does it still hold up? Do you still watch it all the time? Because this had been a long time for me since I had seen it. But if you want to watch it and you have a Hulu subscription, you can watch it on Hulu for free with your subscription. So take a stroll down memory lane and let us know your thoughts on The Sandlot. And also, thank you to Andy for using your card. We appreciate you. We appreciate your listenership, and for making us have a little bit of fun this week. We got to kind of zone out and take in an old movie, which was good.
Yeah. I guess we can like release that again. It's kind of like an immunity idol
We
from
can.
Survivor.
Yeah, we'll just put it back in play, right? Yeah, we'll just create another one. We'll just leave it in a random place.
Yes, and you must go find it, listeners.
Yeah, we'll do a scavenger hunt for it. Nobody will play. It'll be good. Okay, shifting gears in a pretty major way. We're shifting to Oscars mode. It is officially time for the Oscars. They're coming up this Sunday. You can almost taste it. It's time for all the big awards to be handed out. And I thought with this year, 2020 being the year that it was in general, but also in film, and the Oscars, the nomination slate being as intriguing as it really is this year, it would be a good idea to do our Schoolyard pick of 2021 Oscar storylines. So let's kick it off. We're each going to pick a team of 5. What we think are the most intriguing storylines to follow on Oscars night. Kirk, you get to kick us off. What is your number 1 pick?
I get to pick us off? Oh,
yes.
This is crazy. Okay, this is a weird one. Are you ready? I got weird ones.
I'm ready.
For this.
Yeah, let's get weird.
Borat is actually going to become the longest movie title in Oscars history.
Nice.
I am fascinated with Borat's success. Borat 1 and this one. It's absolutely insane that in the entire what is this, the 94th Academy Awards?
93rd.
Yeah, 93rd, right?
Yep.
93rd. And this is the movie that breaks that record and then will hold that record until someone has a longer title. It's just everything I hoped and dreamed for, because it's not like, it feels like it should be a cult classic, but it's front and center, and it's actually well done, and that's why it's getting the notoriety. So I wish all the best for the Borat team, because it'll be really funny to see them win, and they put out a good quality movie too.
Yeah, and Sacha Baron Cohen is a genius of a creator. He really is. Like, he is an incredible performer. He's got a lovely singing voice, actually.
Yes.
He's a fantastic actor. He's nominated, right, for the Trial of the Chicago 7, unless
yes,
I'm
best supporting.
Mm-hmm. So he really is, like a huge, really good performer. But my favorite thing about that is you mentioning like it being etched in history for all time, Borat. I love the thought of like 75 years from now, people being like, I want to go back and look at these really old classic movies, and like Borat being one of those is just a hilarious thought to me, and I love it so much. Okay. My number 1 pick, I hate to bring us down emotionally here, but I have to go with Chadwick Boseman having a chance to win his first Oscar posthumously. I hate that it's posthumously for obvious reasons. I very much wish that Chadwick Boseman was still with us. Let's be clear about this, and this is why I wanted this to be my number 1 pick. If he wins, I don't want to hear this Heath Ledger trash that I've been hearing for years, that Heath Ledger only won for The Dark Knight because he passed away. First of all, that's just patently false, but also it will be false in the case of Chadwick Boseman. There is stiff competition, like there always is in the acting categories this year, and Chadwick Boseman 100% is right up there, and has a really good chance at winning. And if he does, I don't want to hear that storyline, because this performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is remarkable and is really a very beautiful performance to sort of be his final big career highlight, because it just captures so much of his essence, and he did such an incredible job in this movie. Like, I can't say enough about it. So that's my big storyline, and I will be actively rooting for that, because I think it would be great.
Yes. Yep. And he actually, not many actors have been nominated nor won posthumously. He would be the 8th actor in the acting category to be nominated posthumously.
Wow.
If he wins, he'll only be the 3rd actor to win. So behind Peter Finch for Network, and of course Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight. So could be really amazing. Despite the tragedy surrounding it. But again, he pulled out one heck of a performance for that role. As I was watching it, and in a weird way, when I watched that movie and knowing I'm like, he might get nominated, I watched it thinking, will he get nominated? Will he get nominated just simply because of his death or not? And I watched that movie and I said, this is an all-star performance, regardless of where he's at. And so it was very fantastic to see he's number 8, and to see if he wins it will be super cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what's your second pick?
My second pick shall be, this is a strange Oscar tradition that may continue for its 20th year in a row. There's this weird thing that's happened 20 years in a row. So crazy stuff, where a film has been nominated for Best Original Screenplay, but nothing else. So movies in the past have been Knives Out, Straight Outta Compton, In Bruges, Molly's Game, nothing else. This year it's called The White Tiger, and I've not seen it. I want to now, because
I want to watch it. I haven't gotten to yet,
because I love all those other movies that are in that list. So that's got to be on my list. Hopefully before the Oscars hit next week, we'll see if I can squeeze it in. But 20 years, like, that's insane. Like, what's going on there that they don't get any other nominations, and it's so frequent, because these are the movies that I play on repeat, all the other ones. So I want to see this happen, and I want to see it win, because if it has no other nominations, full speed ahead, go for it.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. It would be good. And you'd love to see a sleeper, an upset, something to shake it up. There's so many articles, and there's goldderby.com, for God's sakes, like, that predict these awards, and they get it right with a certain degree of accuracy. But it's always nice whenever it's like, ooh, that was a different one. That was something different that we weren't expecting. So That would be cool. That would be very cool, with its one nomination to take home the victory. That's 1,000 batting average there. That's what you want. Okay, my second storyline, we might have 2 years in a row where a foreign language film, and actually more specifically a film that's primarily in Korean, being the winner of Best Picture. If Minari wins this year, it will mark the second year in a row that has happened with a foreign language film. Obviously, Parasite winning last year. And as I said on the show last week when we reviewed Minari, I feel like that's the play. I feel like that's the movie that needs to win. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. I think if you look back at, and we'll obviously get into more Oscar stuff, on Sunday and beyond, but if you look back at the Oscars, I feel like used to pick the movie that was the biggest technical movie achievement. And now I feel like in the last, with a high degree of consistency, they have started to pick the movie with the best narrative.
Yes.
And for me, that is undoubtedly Minari. And so I feel like it's got a really good shot, and I would love to see Lee Isaac Chung and his whole team take home that award, because I think it's a brilliant movie. So that is one I will definitely be watching for on Oscar Sunday.
Agreed. My chips are also on Minari. My next pick, I got to go back to Borat, because again, it's so fascinating to me. Borat has got all these parallels to other fantastic awards. So two things, this is crazy. Two things more about Borat, and I'm going to squeeze them into one, is that Borat is the new Godfather, is what I've read online here from the BBC. Which I love this parallel. So because it is the second, it holds the record for a film with a sequel. So this is the Borat, and subsequent movie film, Borat the sequel, in the Best Supporting Actress category. It is only the second time that this has happened, that from a sequel that someone has been nominated for the Best Supporting Actor. So Maria Bakalova, who does an excellent job in Borat, subsequent movie film, she holds her own next to Sacha Baron Cohen in such a phenomenal way that you just really feel like she's been at this acting game for so much longer than she has. And I know she's been on Hollywood's radar to be put in a lot of other things, and I see big things from her. So to be nominated,
she's only 24.
Yes,
24.
Yes, yeah. So to be nominated for that with such high regard for a movie, and for such a very, very specific nomination, it's super exciting. The second one is Borat is the fourth film, only the fourth film in Academy history to have both its original and its sequel nominated for Best Screenplay.
Wow.
Only the fourth, though. One of those is the Godfather franchise. So I just got to say, I mean, are we going to get a third one? I don't know. Should he stop here because the third ones never go well?
He said he was going to stop because he like was in danger at multiple times during this, and he was like, I do not want to die. So, got to give him credit for knowing when to pump the brakes there.
Probably his wife, Elsa. So. Isla Fisher. Yeah. So wonderful. That's my pick.
I love it. For my third pick, I'm going with another like first time thing. I feel like this is going to be a really interesting year for the Oscars because I feel like this is all the stars sort of aligned for this to really be like the year of diversity for the Oscars because of a number of reasons. First of all, after Oscars So White and some of the issues that the Academy has had in the past, they made a concerted effort to increase the level of diversity in the Academy Awards. I feel like that is reflected in the I would assume that it's reflected in the nominations since they added all these new members. But additionally, because of the COVID year in 2020, so many of the big movies got delayed, got pushed back, whatever, canceled, etc. And so you end up with this kind of being the year of the indie film. And so we get all of these really cool stories and voices that are new to the scene. So the next one I'm going to focus on is Chloe Zhao being the first female and woman of color to be nominated for Best Director and for being the first woman to be nominated for 4 Oscars in the same award for directing, producing, editing, and writing Nomadland. So Chloe Zhao, hat tip to you, my friend. I think she's going to have a big night. I expect her to have a big night. If the pundits are correct, she's going to have a massive night and take home all the big prizes. So we'll see what happens. Nomadland has certainly been the front runner of award season by a wide margin so far. The Oscars has a tendency to shake things up a little bit, so we will see how she fares. But either way, massive accomplishment for Chloe Zhao, and we are going to see lots more from her because she is just getting started.
Amazing. My next pick kind of goes along with that. It's that there are 2 female directors in the Best Directing category, Chloe Zhao and Emerald Fennell for Nomadland and Promising Young Woman, respectively. That is a feat in 93 years. It seems like we should have got here sooner, but exciting that it's happening now. I think that, we've watched both of these films, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Nomadland, there's no question of its quality of filmmaking. I just wasn't a fan of the story. There's no question of the level of technique and care and specificity and intention that's all going into that. So, and the same with Promising Young Woman, there were excellent and amazing things that I haven't even seen in film, or things that were familiar but kind of turned on their head. So very, very cool, very exciting. Looking at this whole cast here, I don't know where it's going to go. It's anyone's game for the full 5 that are in there. But super exciting that what's 2 divided by 5? That percentage,
40%. Thank
you, is in there already. So kudos to the women that are in there leading the way.
Absolutely. My 4th pick, right? 4th? I think 4th.
Yeah, maybe.
I think 4th. So we're going to end up doing a schoolyard pick of like 10. But my 4th pick is Viola Davis, man. The queen, Viola Davis. What can you say about Viola Davis? I root for her every single time. I think she's absolutely brilliant. She played a very small role in terms of screen time in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but was her normal, incredible self. She is the best of the best, and she has a chance to become the first Black actress to win 2 Academy Awards.
Yes.
And that would be an amazing achievement. Anyone winning 2 Academy Awards is huge. She might actually be, I haven't checked on that part, but I don't know. She might be the first Black actor, regardless of gender, to win 2 Academy Awards. So that would be an incredible achievement. And she's the perfect person to do it. You won't find a more accomplished actor, somebody who just comes in and dominates. Her range is stupid. She can play anything. Nobody typecasts her anymore. She just comes in and just rocks it. And if you're going to see a movie and she's on the cast list, you are in for a show. So congrats to Viola Davis. Well deserved. I will be rooting for you on Oscar Sunday.
Very nice. Very nice. So I guess I got to go. My last one is going to be a bit surprising because I'm going to get hate mail, but I'm not like the biggest Frances McDormand fan. I know everyone else is, but this is pretty cool. So I'm going to put my pride aside because this is really neat. Again, shout out to the women. She is the first woman in Oscar and Academy Awards history to receive an acting and a producing nomination in the same year.
That's
so
awesome.
That is pretty cool. Several other women have gone before her and they've gotten nominations for both in separate years, even though they were back to back, but not the same year. So pretty neat. So bravo, Miss Frances McDormand.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Also, I don't know. Personally, I just never I am someone who does really like Frances McDormand and has followed her career and really enjoyed a lot of her performances. She has a chance to be a 2-time acting Oscar winner, for this and 3 Billboards. I don't know that I ever saw that coming just because of the kinds of roles that she takes, but she's a master of her craft as well and would be well deserving if that's the case. I feel like that's our race, man. Viola Davis versus Frances McDormand, and what a slugfest that is. Whoever emerges victorious will be absolutely well deserving. So that is a big category to watch, the best actress category on Sunday night. And for my final pick, I'm going back to the best actor category, and Mr. Anthony Hopkins has a chance to win best actor in the Academy Awards. What is it? 30 years after he first won it for Silence of the Lambs.
I can't do it.
Which is a brilliant performance as Hannibal Lecter. If you have not seen this movie, The Father, unfortunately you do have to buy it VOD, but it's good. Support the film industry, which needs some support right now. Anthony Hopkins, man, I was ready to totally mail in my ballot and say Chadwick Boseman for best actor. And I still think that's very much possible and that he would be very well deserving. But Anthony Hopkins, man, in The Father gives a remarkable performance and one that is just incredibly, incredibly touching. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tight. Either one of those two that wins would be incredible. But the fact that Anthony Hopkins has a chance to win, 29, 30 years after the first time he did it, what a story. And that movie, The Father, is, I think I actually posted it on social that it's the saddest movie that didn't make me cry. It's like one of those movies that's like sad in a weird way where you're just sitting there like in shock, like this is so sad. I hate it. I'm having an existential crisis. Like I can't even cry because I'm thinking so much about my mortality and my life. It's one of those movies, and like I said, his performance is, just beautiful. So if he wins, just know, if you haven't seen the movie, that it's well deserved. And so we'll see what happens. But either of those two gentlemen emerging victorious would be a huge win. So we'll see what happens on the big night. And that is the end of our Schoolyard pick and the end of our episode. Kirk and I are finalizing the plans for what we are going to do on Oscar Sunday. You will be seeing and hearing from us on that day. I am certain of it. It's a big day for us. It's a big day for all of us movie lovers out there. And we will be all over it for you guys. And next week, we'll have lots of Oscar recaps and things like that. So it'll be a good time. Be sure to tune in on ABC for the Oscars on Sunday, and be sure to hang with us on Discord. You can catch the link in the description. We've got a community that's growing in there. We're sharing news, we're sharing memes, we're sharing recommendations. It's a fun time. If you love TV and movies, even if you don't and you just want to hang with us, come chill in Discord. It's super easy to join. You just download the app, click the link, they'll take care of it all for you. It's a fun time. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the finale is this Friday. Man, we've got a huge weekend ahead of us. The finale is this Friday. We've been following that every single week on our series Spilled Popcorn, and we will be wrapping that one up next week in what is certain to be a massive finale for that show. So we cannot wait. Be sure to check out that on Friday, and then come back with us next week and check out our video of Spilled Popcorn. If you need to catch the old episodes, they are on YouTube, with the exception of episode 5. I'm still working on video editing there, but they're also on the podcast, so you can find all of them by scrolling through Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever. So I think that's all we got. We got a lot of big stuff coming up. Mortal Kombat comes out this Friday. I would bet, Kirk, that's going to be where our review goes this week. So if you're looking for next week, if you're looking for something to watch in preparation for next week's episode, check out Mortal Kombat on HBO Max. You can actually watch the first 7 minutes of the movie right now on HBO Max, which is a bad sign. That's never a good sign. Anytime they're like, check out the first few minutes, it's like they did that with New Mutants. I remember they did it with that movie Aloha.
And Wonder Woman.
87. It's just like, it's
84.
always like one of these things where I'm like, I don't know. Does that mean the movie's bad? But let's hope. Let's hope for Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. It's going to be a good time. Finish him. It's going to be a good time. So that's all we got. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, we want to give a special thank you to our friends at Rhetoric who composed our original music. You can find them on Spotify and Apple Music, everywhere you can get music. And we will see you guys later on for the Oscars.
Talk to you then.